Very exciting and fun. So, without further delay, I'm very excited to introduce to you, on behalf of an incredible group of people called Stray Kite Studios, this amazing new product. Chat, am I excited for this? Guys, we are here today with Paul Hellquist. Paul is one of the members of the team Stray Kite Studios, who is making this incredible game. Paul, how are you today?
Great. I'm excited. Everyone's gonna, get to see this brand new product that we've been pouring our hearts and souls into today.
Oh, well, I'm incredibly excited and honored to be showing the world this. So, Paul, to start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about the company that's making this, Stray Kite Studios?
Yeah, so Stray Kite is a group of about 25 of us. We were founded in 2018 by myself and my partner, Chauvin Patel. We've been doing a lot of co-development work over those years on some big AAA stuff, and Wartorn, something that we've been talking about basically since the beginning. Like the first week we founded the studio, we were like, what kind of games do we want to make? And this was one of the ideas that was on our whiteboard. So we've been talking about this game for a long time and really started diving into it last year, and it's come a long way in that time.
Very, very cool. So what is the history? Like, besides the who is involved in this, and how did you guys come together?
Yeah, so founded by myself and my partner Chauvin Patel. And we worked together at a small studio called Robot Entertainment. We then grabbed our art director, Paul Slesser, as well. And we started, grabbing people from around the industry that we knew that we loved working with. And so we have a really strong leadership team with a lot of AAA background. And then we've gathered a lot of really amazing young talent as well from the Guildhall program here in Dallas at SMU. And so we've really put together a really, really awesome group of a lot of industry vets, but a lot of, fresh faces that have a lot of great ideas as well.
So one thing about this game is that it immediately evokes some emotions from me from a game I loved about 2 decades ago called Myth. But that's a game we haven't seen for a long time. So what made Stray Kite want to go after kind of this specific type of game?
Yeah, Myth was actually one of our inspirations for the game, for sure. Like I said, we had this whiteboard. We were putting up different ideas of the kinds of games we wanted to make. And I brought up like, hey, have any of you guys ever played this game Myth? And Chauvin immediately was like, oh yeah, I loved Myth back in the day. And that, really got us talking about, hey, there hasn't really been a game like that before that's a little bit smaller scale, but still real-time strategy and combat and squad-based types of tactics and things like that. And that, that's what kind of got the ball rolling and us thinking about, man, it'd be really cool to kind of revive some of the things that were in that product, but modernize it. That was 1997. That was a long time ago. So modernize it. Obviously a lot has changed in terms of technology and mechanics and controls and so we really wanted to modernize some of the things that we loved about that game and bring it to a new audience.
Very cool. Very cool. So on that note, let's kind of dive into that. So what is this game? So you were talking about kind of bringing that old school gameplay into the current day and age, but the current day, a lot has happened since then. So how are you making Wartorn something that, all of us players today are going to want to play too?
Yeah, so we call it a real-time tactics roguelite, which is a bit of a mouthful. So what does that mean? It's a real-time strategy type stuff, but it's unlike, your StarCrafts or Age of Empires games like that. There's no base building. It's really entirely focused on the moment-to-moment combat of manipulating and maneuvering your squads of fantasy characters. There's a lot of interesting mechanics. We're bringing a lot of systemic gameplay to the table. This is something that strategy games don't usually do. Everything's usually very deterministic.
Mm-hmm.
And we're bringing a lot of systemic play. This is, coming from my background as a designer on BioShock and Borderlands. Those games are very systemic and a lot of unexpected and exciting things happen. We wanted to bring some of those mechanics to the game. And so that's kind of the combat part of the game, but there's another portion of the game, which is this, journey story that players will be exploring. And the combats are really like the exclamation points in the story. As things happen, you'll eventually get into a fight, and then you go into, this real-time tactics, 3D combat to resolve those battles.
Resolve. So it sounds like this game is going to be heavy on the decision making.
Yeah, there's decision making in, the narrative parts of the game. You're going to be presented with a lot of, moral quandaries and events that happen to you on the road as you're, traveling across the war-torn lands. And so you'll have to make decisions there that will affect how the resources that you have at your disposal. And then, of course, in the moment-to-moment gameplay, there's, a lot of decisions about positioning and when to use abilities and, how to maneuver your characters to be the most effective.
Very cool. So in a game like this, how does kind of the story and narrative fit into all these different gameplay things we've been talking about?
Yeah, story and narrative is really important to me as a designer. I always want the story to be supporting the game mechanics and the game mechanics to be supporting the story. Those really need to work hand in hand if you're really going to have, the most resonant game, in my opinion. So there's we're always trying to connect the dots in terms of like, why does this mechanic exist? Let's make sure the story supports that. And then vice versa. Yeah, exactly.
Not just there to make the game easier, make it make sense, make it sit in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important to me. I learned, a lot of that foundation working on BioShock, and I try to bring that to every game design that I'm working on.
Very, very cool. So on that note, with the kind of the combat loop and the gameplay loop itself, is this the kind of thing where between the combats we're going to be spending a lot of time like really kind of digging down into the army?
Yes. So like I said, you're journeying. As you're journeying, you're going to be collecting different squads that you'll be using in the battles.
And can they always survive? When you get a squad, is it yours forever?
No, this is a roguelite game, and where it's got that hardcore edge that those games bring to it. So if you lose forces during a fight, they are gone. It's sad, and you actually lose morale. Morale's an important resource in the game, so you lose morale
lose my own morale.
Yes, the caravan, we call it the caravan, like your group of everybody that you have with you. Your caravan loses morale, and one of the loss conditions in the game is that if the caravan loses all of its morale, you sort of succumb to despair, and the game is over, and you then start your next run and try to do better. So yeah, losses are heavy, they're costly. But we have mechanics in the game for you to replenish your forces and find new squads to join the fight with you.
Very cool, very cool. So, Paul, these days, I mean, this trailer, which I've seen for the first time, I mean, I can't tell you the goosebumps I get from my old Myth, the little kid in me about Myth, seeing this trailer. But one of the things I think a lot of us like to see these days is what it looks like to actually play the game. Is that?
Yeah. Do you want to see it? Do you think your audience
What do you guys
would be
think?
excited about that?
Should we just watch the trailer on repeat, or do you guys think we should maybe that you got just a little bit? Okay, cool. So it looks like maybe they just want a little, just a smidge, just the tiniest bit.
Yeah, that sounds great. We've got some footage ready to share, and I'd love to kind of talk through what people are seeing on the screen. That sounds great.
Sounds perfect. And on that note, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, so these are, as you can see, these are our squads. This one here that is currently selected as our heroes. Their names are Yara and Alani. They're these young elves that have been driven from their home and have to go on this journey to try to reconnect with their family and survive the war-torn lands. So yeah, we've got 3 squads here, the heroes, and then 2 other squads of elves. One of them creates rain. They're called the Rainmakers, and then this one here is the Lightning Mages. So immediately ran into some enemies, and they threw up this big wall of tar. A lot of the gameplay revolves around elements. You can see some lightning, there's some water there, and all of these elements interact with each other. Water can wash away tar. Of course, it can also put out fires, as we're probably going to see here. Yep. So those Rainmakers come in some rain there and put out those fires.
So lots and lots of different elements. Oh, look at that explosion! And the slowdown.
Drink some water.
Yeah, so the slowdown is one of our key mechanics. We know these games can often be very intimidating to players. And so you can see down in the middle there, it says space and an hourglass. So whenever you hit spacebar, you go into this super slow-mo, which gives you as much time as you need to give different commands and react to what's happening on screen. And it's really important to us, again, to bring this to modern audiences to make sure that a lot of different people can enjoy these games, because we know they can be very intimidating for people who have a hard time, managing a lot of things happening at one time.
So trying to make that transition as easy as possible.
Right. Yeah. So if you're awesome at this stuff, you don't have to hit it very much, and if you need to use it more,
look at that.
So, as you can also see, destruction is really important. We really want the battles to have an impact on the world that you're exploring, and that was an example of those goblins have this like hand grenade ability, and it obviously can destroy the world and do a lot of damage.
So good time. Real quick, good time to mention that. This is the first time I've seen this. I purposefully have not seen any of this. So if you're wondering why I'm sitting here with my jaw dropped open, that's why. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. So this particular mission, the objective was to escape the area and get back to the caravan. And so that big area there is if you get all your squads in it, you survive.
Cool.
So then you get a battle report. Our squads earn some XP. You can check out which of the enemies were the ones that were giving you problems. See how your squads are doing, and then you also get a reward after each battle. Here's how you can get some new squads for the next battle. And as you can see, we have a lot of different types of squads that you can get.
Oh, that's a picture. Damn, look at that.
Yeah, this is our key art, which we really love. So you'll see that all over the place, especially on the Steam page and stuff. So here's another battle. We picked Goblin Grenadiers as a reward. So this is our new squad here. These guys are a frontline battle squad, but they also have that hand grenade. So now we have that we can use. We got to see it in the previous mission used against us, and now we have it on ours as well. So this map's a little bit bigger, as you can see. We've got another squad, so we have a little bit more to deal with. And we're using that slow-mo a little bit more to react to what's happening.
Waiting for that bomb to go off.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we're moving the.
There it is. Oh
there
man.
Went. Yep.
Look at all that.
Yeah, as you can see, blood and gore is something that's really important to the game. Again, we're trying to represent how brutal the combat is in this world, and we want, again, you can see there that the aftermath of the battle is lingers and really shows you the impact that you've had.
Oh no, here comes the big one. Here comes the Chungus. Oh.
Yep. That's our troll. He creates this like fissure of tar.
That is now on fire.
That is now on fire. Again, that shows one of those elemental interactions. Tar obviously is flammable. It makes you burn longer, and it burns hotter too, so it does more damage if you do that.
The Rainmakers could put an AoE to the left, putting the fire out on our guys and keeping it on the... Okay, cool.
Correct. Yep. And so one of the things here that you can see, we took out that troll actually pretty fast because flanking is important, positioning where your units are. So hitting him from behind does a lot more damage, things like that.
So one thing I'm noticing is we've now seen 2 missions and both of them have taken just a few minutes.
Yeah, we want we're looping the footage here so we can keep chatting about it. But we want the battles to be pretty quick. Like, they're intimate is one of the things that we are always talking about in our game. So it's intimate in that there's only a handful of squads. You get to know these squads well. When you lose them, it hurts. And we need the battles to be fast because you're going to be doing a lot of them during the course of your journey. And we don't want a run of our roguelite to take, 12 hours or something. So we need the battles to be very quick and snappy.
Cool. And I'm assuming each one will have like its own very unique setup and purpose and offer different challenges and things of that nature.
Yeah, there'll be lots of different maps, and there'll be the enemies that you fight will be different every time you go onto a map, and every run you do will play out very differently, not only because of the enemies you're facing, but also the squads that you get into your caravan. So part of what we want is that there's these really interesting builds that you can get, where you're trying to find squads that complement each other well and, maximize their effectiveness by working together.
Beautiful. So we have the meta story where we're taking the twins. Can we call them the twins? Where we're taking
they're not twins, but sisters. Sisters.
Okay. We're taking the sisters through this roguelite story. We're getting new units as we do that. Is there going to be progression inside the units themselves as well?
Yes, absolutely. So as you saw in the battle reports, your squads will earn XP after every fight based on how well they did and what how many kills they got and all those kinds of things. And then they'll eventually level up, and what we call that in our game is veterancy. So whereas a lot of level up games, the differences are very incremental. In our game, we want the leveling to feel very significant in terms of the upgrade. So you'll not only get like a ton of additional health and a lot of extra damage and those kind of stat things, but you will actually choose which way. There's like little trees on each of the squads, and you can choose which way you want to. You can choose which way you want to start specializing them into different kinds of roles and gaining different abilities. And so you really want to keep your squads alive as long as you can and tier them up, because they eventually get really, really powerful. And you'll need to have more and more of your squads at higher tiers as the game progresses, because the enemies will start being, the higher tiers as well. And if you're still, on the lower tiers, it's going to get really, really tough.
For sure. So this is a slightly next step question. And if I ask any questions today where you're just like, we haven't decided that yet, or nope, not going to talk about that, please feel free. So on that note, since this is a roguelite, which infers repetition, how is every time we play everything going to reset to 0? Are we going to see squads resetting with us, or do the sisters consistently get stronger? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So our there are a lot of things that you'll be preserving between runs. The sisters, again, are our heroes. The story revolves around them, so they are always a part of your caravan. And I should also mention this: if your heroes die, that's a game over moment. So despite them being in every battle, you have to be careful, because if you lose track of them and they get knocked out, that'll quickly end your run. So they stay with you, of course. There's a whole upgrade path for them in terms of weaponry. So there's a lot of different weapons you can unlock that change their roles so that you can start your run with your heroes in kind of different roles. Right now, this is our sword and shield weapon. So they're more of a tank up front, but you can get bow and arrows and daggers and a whole bunch of other things.
So you can change the role of the units through that stuff.
You can change the role of the heroes. Yeah. And then other things that you can preserve is this is a game about story, about family. And so you're going to be finding family members, and they're going to give you family heirlooms, and the heirlooms do have special capabilities that you can start the runs with that help, kind of give you a nudge in what direction your builds for your caravan should go. There is hero spells for the hero that you earn a resource called pages that are pages for your spell book, and you eventually can unlock new spells again to customize those heroes. And there's more. So there's a lot of different things that you're going to be unlocking during the course of play that you'll be preserving between runs that help improve your chances as you're trying again.
So we're talking about multiple progression mechanics as we're moving through this stuff.
Yeah. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different progression mechanics that are maintained between runs. Things like your squads are transient. They will, when you lose the run, you're starting back from just the sisters again and have to rebuild the makeup of your caravan. But your caravan, you might one of them is upgrade paths is more hit points for my squads, more damage for my squads, faster squads, like all that kind of stuff that will affect all the squads you find on your next journey.
And make those runs more and more powerful and intuitive.
Correct.
Awesome. Very cool. So we've been talking a whole lot about the gameplay and such, but I'd love to talk to you about a few of the different things. First of all, I'm loving the music I'm hearing. What did you guys do with the music with this?
So yeah, our music is all original music. We're working with a great composer named Felipe, and he's been doing a great job and has a lot of really cool ideas to bring our world to life through music. So yeah, we're really excited about the soundtrack as well.
Very cool, very cool. And also, while we're on the kind of presentation theme here, the art style, like this is a very cool art style. In fact, one of the things I'm noticing is like, when the camera pans around, there's almost this painting look to it, like brush strokes. Like, how do you guys do that? Yeah,
so one of the things early on, again, when we were talking about how do we bring a fantasy world to life and how can we add our own spin to it, we talked a lot about what do we want to evoke in the visuals of the game. And something that I always think is really fun and exciting and cool about fantasy worlds is this sense of like history and lore that, it feels ancient. You want your world to feel like it's been around for a long time. And for me, when you think about old times for us, there was no photography back in the day, right? So everyone depicted cool things in battles and whatnot in paintings. So we got this idea of what if our game looked like a painting and really gave this sense of history. So yeah, that's what we've done here. We call this fantastical romanticism, and it's inspired by the
romanticism.
It's inspired by the romanticism period of art history that we looked at a lot of classical artworks and are trying to emulate some of the things that you see in that. And we really want the game to feel like a painting come to life. And a little, there's a little secret sauce, but Ilani, one of the two heroes, is a painter. So part of this, again, even the art style we're trying to bring into the story. So the idea is that what you're actually seeing is kind of Ilani's paintings of the journey coming to life.
How cool. How cool. So real quick, we do have a quick note that we want to shout out. There is a small error on the Steam page, and that actually, funny enough, will lead us into a great thing to talk about next. The Steam page says this game is going to be free to play. This game is not going to be free to play. In fact, Paul, why don't you tell us about how you plan to monetize this product? Because I know these days that's a very interesting issue for some companies. So how are you guys? How's Stray Kite approaching that?
Yeah, that's a bummer that goofed on there.
I think they're fixing it right now. It was an error on Valve's side.
Yeah, so we're not. We just I don't know. It's like, well, how are we gonna monetize the game? We're gonna put a price on it, and you guys are gonna pay the price, and you own the game.
No,
like,
wait, that did?
Right.
It's 2025, yeah. Paul. Where's my store? My skins? I need a pre-sale. I need in-game Bible items, DLC expansions. No?
Yeah, well, I mean, we might do something like DLC in the future. That'll entirely depend on the fans and what they're interested in, how much they're loving the game. But it's going to be kind of old school, I guess, in that way that it's like, this is how much the game costs, and then you have the game. And if we make a big expansion, maybe that'll cost another thing later. But a lot of that stuff we still are trying to figure out. But yeah, it's very straightforward.
I like that. We're going old school with it. When you give us money, we give you the product, and that's
right.
it. that's all she wrote. So tell us all about like early access. How is this going to work? What's your plan for getting this game from this point into the hands of players that you know of?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of that is still in the works, but we are working towards an early access release, hoping to get that out this spring. Don't know exact dates yet, but hopefully this spring. So this is not far off. If you are, if people are watching and enjoying what they're seeing, you won't have to wait a super long time to get your hands on the game. So that's really cool. And so early access is not going to be the complete game. It's going to be a portion of our story, but we want to make sure what we do put out for early access is as high quality as it possibly can be. So it's going to be a little bit smaller, but as up to the quality bar that we want for the title. And then, on the road to 1.0, we'll be continuing to expand the game and eventually get all those juicy features that we want in there and get all the story elements and all of those kinds of things.
Beautiful. Well, Paul, before I briefly mention my role and everything, is there anything else that you would like to talk about or cover about this awesome new product?
No, not in particular. I think we covered a lot of it. There is a lot more to talk about, and I'm sure we'll be catching up with you again in the future to show off some other cool things as they come online. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so happy that we got to share everything with some fans today, and I hope you all enjoyed what you saw.
Absolutely. So before we go, I do want to, first of all, give a huge thank you to both Paul and Stray Kite Studios. One other small thing that I personally would like to announce at the end of this is I'm actually joining Stray Kite Studios as an advisor on this project. And we're doing it in a very interesting way, where most of the game I'll be kept at arm's length on. And that's so, I'm not going to know the stories, I'm not going to know the characters. I'm going to be specifically helping in like QOL, use case, helping like make the game be the best game it can be, while having all of the story and secrets kept from me so I can actually stream the game for you too. It's a very interesting, unique relationship, and I'm thrilled that Stray Kite is allowing me to join them. I'm honored to help them. So yeah, this is a dream. When I first saw the demo, I got a very brief demo, of course, before I agreed to join them. And I'll tell you this, I knew within 30 seconds, this is something very special. So I just want to thank Paul so much, Kyle as well over at Stray Kite, the entire team, and just say this is so exciting announcing this. I cannot wait to see where this product goes. And just thanks to you guys for bringing back, frankly, one of my favorite games for a long time. So awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate everything. I'm really excited to get to work with you. And of course, everyone watching, please head over to that Steam page and wish list if you enjoyed what you saw.
Yes, this page just went up on Steam. So the best thing you can do to help support this is wishlist. Wishlist really, really helps games like Wartorn and others get notifications on Steam in terms of like getting for sales, getting the front page stuff. So if you ever want to support a game, this or any other, one of the best ways you can do it is wishlist. I don't know if we have the link up now, but cohh.tv/Wartorn will also go to that page. And yeah, Paul, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it. We are out for now. You'll be able to find all of this on YouTube later. And thank you so much. Wow. 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 Guys, I'm gonna say it again. When I was first pinged on this a little bit ago, I played that demo for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And I go back to the guy that was showing to me and I said, am I understanding this right? That you're basically taking like Myth and putting this amazing, unique take on it and Roguelite? He just kind of looked at me and goes, yeah. I was just like, oh. For those that don't know, I DJ'd for years. My DJ name was my Myth login handle. Like, the game means something to me. So I'm not only thrilled this game exists, but I can't tell you how excited I am to help make Stray Kite make it the best thing that it can be and then stream it for you. It's a wonderful situation. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our reveal today. You will, of course, be hearing a lot more about this in the near future. Big thanks to Paul and the entire studio at Stray Kite. And yeah, I will see you guys in just a little bit. I'll be back in about an hour or so for some KCD. And thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.